Disaster Planning and Response Art Rescue is a first responder for the world of art, providing planning, packing, evacuation, conservation, and storage for all your treasured possessions.
Chicago. It's pretty much fall here, which is why we are starting the fall season off with the dinner party. For those of you who haven't been here before, my name is Elysabeth Alfano. And what we do here on the dinner party is I invite 3 celebrities, that can be entertainers or politicians or sports figures, and a known chef who cooks for them. So over food and wine and chocolate and some performances, the unscripted conversation flows. But that's not the best part. The best part is everything that we're eating here on stage, you guys are eating as well and drinking, and I can see you've already started in on some wine, which is very good. And in addition to keeping up with us in terms of food and wine, you're also going to be a part of the conversation. So we've got good news tonight. We have a very new media partner, the Sun-Times. That's big. I know, it's big. That's what I think. So we are streaming live on the Sun-Times Splash section, so welcome to everybody who's watching us. I want everybody who's watching live and everybody here in the audience to pull out your handy-dandy cell phones. And those of you who know how to Twitter, and hopefully everybody does, you can do it, you can do it. Pull out your phones, and you want to Twitter to, where is it? Fear No Art CHGO. Hashtag the dinner party. Fear No Art CHGO. And if you Twitter in your questions, for those of you watching online and those of you here, Twitter in your questions for the guests, and when I take your tweet, you can win $100 at Nightwood Restaurant. I know, want $100? Yes, of course you do. I do, actually. 2 tickets to the Goodman Theatre. You can also win 2 tickets to Second City. Yemi Marie, was she not fantastic? She was fantastic. Fantastic, and she's 16, by the way. And can she command a crowd? So you can, I know, I love this area right here. They're very active. You can win her CD and a t-shirt, and you can win stuff from Chicago Fire. It's very exciting. So get ready, get on your phones, do some tweeting. While you guys get all figured out, I'm going to go ahead and thank our sponsors. It's so important. I couldn't do anything without them. So, of course, I'm thrilled to have the Sun-Times with me. Also, a new media sponsor is Windy City Times. The Illinois Center for Broadcasting, they are streaming us live. Couldn't do it without them. City Winery, of course, has been fantastic. We have with us Voss Water tonight, Voss Chocolate, and David's Tea is in the house. So very exciting. And then our very first sponsor ever was Disaster Planning and Response Art Rescue. They're still with us. I love them. I wouldn't trust my art conservation, furniture conservation, or art shipping to anyone else. So it's great to have them on board. Hopefully you're up now and running on Twitter. So let's get down to our fabulous guests. We really do have an exceptional lineup tonight. It's very exciting. Our first guest is a cultural icon in the city of Chicago. So if you're in Chicago, of course you know about him, and of course you know about the theater. But if you're not from Chicago, probably the reason you know about Chicago theater is because what he has done for the Goodman Theatre. So please welcome the artistic director of the Goodman Theatre, Robert Falls. You're gonna be right there. Thank you for coming. Cultural icon. Big deal. Big deal. All right, so you're in Chicago. If you're not going to the Goodman Theatre, then you're probably going to Second City. So please welcome the very talented and very, very funny Katie Rich from Second City. Main stage. Miss Katie Rich. So we've been backstage already having a lot of fun, and they have no alcohol in them quite yet. They've been having a very good time. Having a very good time backstage. So, okay, of course we have Chicagoans, because, hey, we're in Chicago. But we also branch out. We do other stuff. Very exciting. You probably know him best from Sex and the City, but he's also now, very exciting, he's also now on the NBC hit new show, Chicago Fire. He hails from New York and also LA. Please welcome actor David Eigenberg.
Am I on?
You are on.
Iconic and
You
funny.
are on.
A big bucket of dumb. All right, here we go.
You
What
are
a
on.
night.
Okay, so it's pretty...
Iconic, funny, and dumb. There were no adjectives to describe me.
Yes,
None.
you were a New York and LA-based actor.
That's not an adjective. That's not an adjective. That's where I'm from. He's from Chattanooga. All right, let's go.
Okay, so as fascinating as that is, and you can see I have my work cut out for me tonight.
Oh,
as
yeah.
fascinating as that is, I really can't focus on you guys just yet because we've got some fantastic food from Jason Vincent of Nightwood. So let's see what he's cooking for us tonight.
Hi everybody, I'm Jason Vincent, the executive chef of Nightwood Restaurant in Pilsen. We're going to start off with holy shit sweet corn soup. I hope you guys are comfortable because we're going to try and feed you as much as we possibly can. We started off yesterday by grilling really beautiful sweet corn from Three Sisters Garden. So then all you got to do is peel it down. By steaming it, you've also kind of built a sweetness in a product that's already pretty sweet. So instead of using like butter or olive oil or anything like that, we have this is pork fat from this really beautiful Tamworth hog that we got from Triple S Farms, which is in western Illinois. So what we did is we vacuum sealed it with essentially guanciale spices, a lot of black pepper and rosemary, coriander, clove, juniper, allspice. We just kind of cooked those things together and got this really aromatic pork fat. I don't mean to be scaring any of the non-pork eaters in the audience. We like vegetables. We just like them cooked in pork fat. We're gonna fry really quickly a little bit of onion. We're gonna leave garlic cloves whole. And we're just gonna kind of brown the outside of them after the onions are fried. And then also, what a lot of people like to tell you to do is to sweat the onions until translucent, and then add the garlic and sweat it till it's translucent. For these kind of things, you want to get it all in. We like to think about it like regionally. This seems like a very Latin American soup, and they don't sweat their onions. You put a pot on and you forget about it for an hour. So it's just like beyond scary hot, and you just fry the shit out of everything in it. The corn just needs to come off the cob. The other benefit of cooking the corn first, that it comes off nice and neat like this, and you don't get corn kernels stuck under your refrigerator. Just gonna get this stuff. Now the corn's already cooked, so all we're doing right now is really softening it, warming it up, so it's maybe a little bit easier to blend. Dude, that smells fucking awesome. It's amazing. A little water. There's gonna be a bunch of secret ingredients in this, and I'm not gonna tell you what they are because I can't have everybody biting my style. Start on a low speed. Bring it up until you're like pureeing the shit out of it, and then leave it there for a while. People never remember to puree their stuff long enough. And it never hurts. Just put it back through a strainer. So, we get a bowl, we get some coriander, a little bit of sour cream, all done. This is the base, the pork fat, sweet corn, garlic, onions. This is your green coriander. scallions, another little level of acidity. Queso fresco, which is a fresh cow's milk cheese. And then homemade sour cream, creme fraiche, whatever you want to call it. Here you go, guys. Holy shit, sweet corn soup. A lot of secret stuff and love.
Jason Vincent should be very close to us. I think he's coming out any minute now. Yay, our chef! Yes! I think he's got a wireless mic. Awesome, yeah. Okay, so it's great. Okay, so I want to hear from Jason. Okay, who's been
Sorry
to Nightwood?
about the swearing.
Oh no, that's big. These two are swearing up a storm.
Fuck, it's
really.
good. This is good fucking soup.
Okay, wait. So how many people have been to Nightwood? Okay, good. So I don't know, because I've been to Nightwood a bunch, but I didn't know. Okay, you take your old fat and then you make it into biofuel. Tell me how you recycle at this restaurant.
We do it really easy. We give it to somebody and they do it.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's how you recycle.
No problem.
So what exactly becomes biofuel?
The fryer oil. Everything that we deep fry, stuff in, we go through a lot of it. One of the farmers, Slagle Farm, if anybody's familiar, they fuel all of their tractors and trucks that they use for delivery in the city on our grease.
That's amazing.
You serve all your stuff in cups? I mean, or were you just like short tonight?
I do. Sorry.
You were like, too many people, I'm not cooking that much.
right.
Give them a cup.
That was the easy part. Putting the
It's
label
great.
on everyone was the hard thing.
Put the what on it?
The logo.
Okay, wait,
Yeah,
so
that's lost.
I also want to hear about what you do seasonally, because when I was there, so I was filming that video about 3 weeks ago, and you've already changed so much on the menu, like we'll see what we're going to have later has already changed a bit. So I know sometimes you guys do like brisket stuff if it's that time of year, or sometimes you'll change what you do. So talk to me about how you get your produce and then how you decide on the menu from there.
We're ingrained. I bugged the farmers for enough years so that we're their first stop, we're their first phone call, which
that's
is
great.
it's a nice problem to have, but it's like, you know, half the time I'm bugging them to go out to the field and pick stuff that's not ready. The other half of the time they're bugging me with stuff I'm not ready for. You know what I mean?
Is there a conversation, they go, it's not ready yet!
Yeah. That's on the back 40. We're not going there yet. Brussels sprouts. They're there. They're ready to go. Nobody's picking them.
Why?
Because they're, I don't know, fucking lazy.
You're tired of Brussels sprouts? Okay, so
Fucking lazy.
So this is going to be the show where everybody
Fucking lazy
swears.
farmers.
Yes, no, you can. Okay, well, so I know you're still working in the kitchen because he's got our entrees that are coming out. So you're going to come back and be with us in a little bit. But Jason Vincent, Nightwood.
Enjoy it, everybody.
Super good. So what I love about this is it tastes like you just got this on a Mexican cart. You know, like it's like Mexican street food. It tastes like you just got it off some cart on Clark Street. All right, okay, so some obvious commonalities, of course, they're all in acting. But what's been so interesting to me, so I think of Robert, is you're at the height of your career. You've been with the Goodman Theatre
I don't know if we
since...
can say that after this.
I think that's true, probably. It's all downhill from here, actually. It's completely downhill from here. You've been with the Goodman since '77?
No, I've been directing in Chicago since 1977, but I've been at the Goodman since 1986.
Okay, so you've been at a while there.
A long time.
A good long time. You've been at the Goodman since
I'm the
1986.
oldest person sitting at this table.
You are the oldest person at this table.
I look great.
And then David is sort of mid-career, I would say. I mean, you have two major...
I'm really at the end. I'm really fastly approaching the end.
Any day now?
Any day now, yeah. They may kill me. They try to kill me all the time.
So you may not be on the full second season of Chicago Fire.
Yeah, you never know.
And Katie, we think, is so...
I get the whimper. All right, I won't die. Not this year.
So Katie's kind of starting out. I mean, you're like, being on Second City is a big deal, of course, and many actors would like to be in your shoes. But you're still thinking like, okay, maybe SNL, maybe, or whatever, you know.
SNL very happily said no to me this year.
Oh, they did? You've tried out for SNL, really?
Oh yeah, big time.
Were they smiling when they said no? They went, thank you,
They
but
don't
no.
even say no. They just don't. You just don't hear from them.
Yeah,
and
I
then
know
you
that.
see the show gets cast, and you're like, I'm not on it.
Yes, right. So what would you guys say, so like, Robert, what would you say to somebody in David's shoes? And David, what would you say to someone in Katie's shoes? And Katie, what would you say to somebody just starting out? Like, I mean, because you've got years of experience.
It's so confusing.
No one
I'm
followed
like
that?
I'm like picturing shoes, and I'm looking at your shoes. And did you get
You want to
that
wear
at
my
all?
shoes?
I have no
Yeah,
idea.
you have to give advice to David.
To someone in mid-career.
Just tell me, hang it up, find another vocation, and I'll do it.
Yes, that's your advice. And
My advice, I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, you know, it's. I mean, what's amazing about it is you just kind of keep displaying this incredible modesty when, you know, obviously you're very, very accomplished at what you've been doing.
I've been around a little bit, yeah.
so how many years have you been doing it now?
I started out 30 years ago here in Chicago.
Here in Chicago. I didn't know
wait
that.
till you hear this. What?
Please.
Oh
What you
yeah.
did.
I started out here. I was going to Washburn Trade School on the South Side. I was carpenter.
Wait a minute, wait. Were you born in Chicago?
No, I was born in Long Island, but I grew up out in Aurora and Naperville.
Listen to him talk. You asked if he was from Chicago.
Right.
So then the teachers union went on strike once again, and I didn't have anything to do. And then there was a musical up here in the Loop called One Shiny Moment. It was about the life of John F. Kennedy, presented by young people. It was a great cast. Robert knows the cast. It was Megan Mullally. She was like, she was a baby. She was 18.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Kevin Anderson.
Kevin Anderson
And Alan Ruck. Yeah.
And so I went into audition, and this really wonderful old gay director was I'd gotten out of Marine Corps boot camp. I was a reservist, and I was about 15 pounds heavier. And he went, I had a high and tight. He went, "Oh my God, who are you? Where'd you come from? You have to be in the show." And I couldn't act, sing, or dance, or do anything. But he put me in the show anyway, and it started me.
So somebody found you.
They found me,
Wow.
yeah. I
So
had
many
no
people wish they
talent,
would
no
have it.
discernible talent, but I was cute. So I was kind of like the male version of the Schwab story with Lana Turner, I think. Was Lana Turner? Yeah. One of those girls.
So what are you now? Or still, where are we on talent?
I'm no Lana Turner
Okay,
anymore.
okay.
But you're still cute.
I was
still
just going to
cute.
say, you still got cute.
But well, then I went to New York, and that was it. And I went to school, and I figured it out. And then I was unsuccessful. I mean, terribly unsuccessful for 15 years.
Because that's how it is for most people. I mean,
Yeah.
most people really don't land something like that.
Well,
and then,
most people figure it out and move on, and then the dumber ones
right.
stay, like me. So I stayed on, and I got a little, break here and there. And
so what would you say to somebody who's, trying and 15 years into it, it's still not working? I mean,
Please.
I guess that's the answer there.
you got to do what you got to do. But
Right,
if you
yeah.
want to stay with it, stay with it. And if you want, I think the arts is a wonderful place to end up, and it's a great place to discover stuff. And I feel blessed that I did, because when I started in One Shiny Moment, Chicago in 1983, it opened up doors for me. It really, I grew up in a very kind of cloistered, very conservative suburb of Chicago. Had a lot of conservative issues about them, and I fled. And when I came here and I got into the theater, it was a great eye-opener about the language and emotions and people and contact and missing each other, and and then there was that weird moment of art once in a while you see.
Yes,
I don't
right.
make much of it, but I get to see it. And it was great. So it's a great life. So if you want to keep doing it, great. Robert, if you want to keep doing it, keep doing it. And if you're tired of it, throw it in, move on. There's 1,000 other things to do with your life.
Katie, what would you say? Give Robert some advice, because Robert doesn't seem to want to give anyone some advice. So you give Robert some advice.
About what topic? About
Yeah,
acting or just life or?
Should he hang it up?
No, I don't know. I think you gotta have thick skin, And I'm very lucky. I have an amazing family and friends, and so I'm pretty grounded as far as all the bullshit goes. So, you know what I mean?
No, it's great. I had a lousy family and a lot of lousy
That's why
friends.
you're nuts.
So, okay, I already have a tweet for Robert, and this is going to...
It's all about you.
It's all about Robert, yes.
It's all about giving me advice.
Yes, apparently...
It's so bad that somebody's tweeting in advice to you. It's gotten to that.
Yes. They also want you to hang it up.
People used to just do it face to face,
Yeah.
call you on the phone, and now it's like tweeting.
Saw your last play, Bob.
Suck.
So James Broad wants to know, who's won 2 tickets to the Goodman Theatre, by the way, so pretty awesome for you. I know, how about that? He wants to know, how do you know what shows will resonate with the Chicago audience?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, you know, I'm a lifelong Chicagoan as well, and so you just grow up here, and you know, I've had opportunities, you know, to go other places, and I've worked a lot around the country, around the world, and I just keep coming back to Chicago. It's just my city. It's where I kind of feel very, very comfortable, and I know people, and you sort of just develop a feel for the city and for the audiences. And it's, you know, it's this extraordinarily diverse city. It's extraordinary on every level, and you just develop that. It's almost like a
sensibility.
You know, yeah, a sensibility about,
sense.
you know, which I mean, the great thing about the Goodman, but the great thing about Chicago is that it can embrace everything. From, you know, it's Second City has defined this town. The Goodman has defined this town. Steppenwolf Theater has defined this town. I mean, it's a really defining town in many ways, and the theater community's been responsible for that.
And it can hold all of that. I mean, we have such a diverse theater community, so it's amazing that it can have so many theater companies.
And extraordinary cultural diversity. I mean, we're going to talk a little bit about, you know, Pullman Porter Blues, which is the play we're doing now, which is, you know, a wonderful African-American author, Cheryl West, and director and company, some of whom you're going to see. And it's essential that the city reflect the diversity of our community. You know?
And it does. It does. Yeah, and responds well to that.
Yeah.
So I'm curious for all of you, but maybe also particularly for Robert. So when I think of
Absolutely.
but then it's going to be really over with you, and we're completely moving on.
No.
So
I better make the most of it.
Because this is your last question, and then I'm having nothing more to do with you.
A wine, please.
Yes.
Is it weird to watch us up here? It feels.
Does it feel
It feels weird,
No,
no.
it's okay. It's okay. Yes. Okay, so you've been doing this from 1986, and I think of the growth of the Goodman since 1986, and you've pulled in, you know, Mary Zimmerman. You work with her, Brian Dennehy. I mean, you've really, Regina Taylor. You've pulled in these amazing talents to really kind of build up the theater in, you know, a couple decades, but still, it's an enormous amount of work. And I wonder what skill do you have? Do you think that allowed you to kind of pull the Goodman to where it is?
Well, you know what it is? It is a lot about trying to identify the right people at the right time, you know, the right place, and then giving them, you know, you guys work with directors all the time. And there are bad directors, there are good directors, and what you hope a good director does is to sort of identify that which you do well and create the atmosphere of risk-taking. I mean, you got to be able to feel comfortable in any environment, whether it's drama, whether it's comedy. It's a very difficult thing what these two people do, to go out in front of an audience, to go out in front of a camera, and to reveal themselves on any level is extraordinarily difficult. So what a director does at its best is create that atmosphere with which it can take place. And I think that's what I try to do.
So you feel like that's sort of your strongest point, is creating that atmosphere where they can really be themselves?
Well, I think so. I mean, you got to do a lot of other things when you direct as well. I mean, you got to have all sorts of things going on. But ultimately, the experience of any play, any piece of art, any piece of theater is the actors are really the brave soldiers who are out there, you know, presenting that which other people may have written, other people may have directed, but it's an extraordinary thing. And as a director, if you can give them the room to do it, is what I'm happiest doing.
I interviewed Joyce Piven a while ago, of course, the wonderful Piven Theater Workshop, and I asked her, you know, because she's taught Jeremy Piven and John Cusack and Joan Cusack, and so many people have come out of that school, and I asked her, why do you think so many people have come out of this small school? And she said, because they were all willing to be 100% of themselves. So if the director can sort of make that happen, then...
That's it.
What about you two? Why do you think you're good at what you do? Like, what did you tap into at Second City that makes you...
My first director at Second City is actually here.
Oh, great.
And he, one thing, because he travels with me.
What's his name?
Billy Bungaroff.
Billy!
He was your first director. Okay, wait. He was also on the first dinner party, the second dinner party ever.
And I guess we're still friends. But one thing that he did for me was, and he did for all of us, was he would let us try anything. So whatever you brought in, because a lot of people don't know this, but at Second City, we also write the shows.
Yes.
A lot of people think we have writers. No, we're the writers, so remember that. Don't email me and ask if you can get a writing job at Second City, because I do get that. But,
and wait, people ask you if they can...
They're like, how do I be a writer at Second City? Like, oh, you just want to try? Like,
yes.
Yeah. But anyway, so he made us feel like anything we brought in, and I brought in some real shit, and so did a lot, you know, but we tried everything. And then he was so good at distilling what what it was about what we brought in that we really liked.
But he created the atmosphere,
Yeah.
which gave you the security to do that.
Absolutely.
Because it's extremely dangerous.
It is.
I mean,
Oh,
don't
yeah.
you find that?
Absolutely.
You got to put yourself out there emotionally in an unusual. All actors do. I mean, most people, but they don't have to do that.
But the sad thing is, it's like when you're young and you're starting out, you don't, like, you can go see a great production,
Right.
I got to watch you work when I was younger and see, wow, that was great, but I wasn't working with you. My friend was working, my old girlfriend was working with you, but I wasn't working with you. And then I'd be doing some play with somebody, and you're in that place, and you're trying to get this thing to work, and the director's like, yeah, just you get that to go like that, and just be mad there, and just be, and coming in all these like obtuse things, and you're trying to do it, you're killing yourself. And then like 10 years later, you go like, that play sucked. Because the play sucked, we sucked in it, and the director sucked. And you don't know it when you're young. So you don't know until you stumble into a good situation with a good director.
Right, yeah.
I got work with Jerry Zaks. One of my first good shows I did was like almost 20 years ago. And he laid it out there. And he made us a place. And he said to us, he said, you guys are all wonderful actors, blah, blah, blah. He says, but I actually hunted you guys down because I thought you were really good people.
Oh, nice. That's
And I
what
wanted
we
to work with you. And it was such a weird thing. But
I do that, it's an interesting thing on a lot of plays I do. I don't even sometimes need to do an audition. I just want to get in the room with the person and talk to the person. And everyone, I may say, let's read a little bit of this. But I want to talk and get a chance. It's not just about putting the right person in the right part. You want to feel if you have a dynamic or a chemistry with somebody. And if you feel that they are really, I use the phrase considerable people.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't always happen. We work with some real assholes.
Well, there is.
Wait a minute. Like asshole, crazy monsters that you would not believe.
Okay, give me a story.
Right, Tim Kazurinsky?
Who's in the house?
He's the
He's
biggest
in the house. Tim
asshole.
Kazurinsky is in the house.
What a wonderful person.
I mean, just truly insane.
Nightmare. So much cocaine.
So much stuff. The stories we three could tell.
Just a
Wow.
sick
Oh, yeah.
Wait a minute, I want to hear somebody's got a good story. Come on, you don't have to name names. Give me something good.
Oh, about some other. No, that comes back at you.
Yeah, we're not supposed to talk bad about each other.
No, we're not going to do
There's
that.
some ugly stuff that happens. It definitely happens.
But that's why, I mean, and you can create good stuff, but at its best, it's an environment that wants trust.
Yeah.
It wants trust. Well, you can only work in a trusting environment.
And
You
I'm
can't-
so lucky. Every cast I've had has just been really great people.
Oh, wow.
That's the
Every
thing.
cast you've had?
Yeah, at
Wow.
Second City, every single cast has just been amazing people. We've been so lucky because you're there 6 days a week. You're around them more than your families and your partners and everything. And if they're nightmares, then that's more important. I'd rather someone not be, oh, you don't know how to improvise as well as this person, but that person's a nightmare. I'd rather work with the person who's good to work with.
Yes, right, yeah.
So that's changed. I think a lot of people think like backstage, all we're doing is like what Tim used to do, like blow and
And he did drugs too. didn't he?
Yeah, he also blew and also did blow and you know what I mean. But like,
Okay, wait.
it's not like
Bring the
that.
show down. Oh my God.
Oh, I should
set you up,
say.
didn't I?
You did really good.
No, he's bringing the show down.
Trust you.
Okay, before this spirals into something really bad, we're gonna pull up some singers from Pullman Porter Blues, and Robert's gonna introduce them, and they're gonna take us to a better place.
Well, these are extraordinary performers. I mean, these include like people at the beginning of their career, like Tosin and Clevant, who's won Tony Awards for the original company of Dreamgirls, who are with us tonight. This is Pullman Porter Blues, which opens at the Goodman Theatre on September 14th. And they're going to be performing a blues number from the show. It's Tosin, Moranfala, Clevant Derricks, and Jay Michael.
Yes, okay, so welcome them to the stage. So very exciting. I'm going to see and if you want tickets, we can get you some. I'm going to go on Sunday, so I'm really excited to see Pullman Porter Blues, and I think we have people come in. Here they are, to take us someplace good. Hey, guys.
No, it was like.
I've been working without a mic.
I know, but
Thank you.
you're good.
The young gentleman who plays my dad, it's a generational show about a grandfather, father, and a son. I play the father, he plays my son. And the gentleman who plays my father was not able to be here tonight, so we brought our musical director, J. Michael, who's going to take his place.
Nobody wants to sing.
Dad, don't tell me nothing about the white folks. Tonight belongs to us. This is a sign. This summer Pullman's gonna finally recognize the brotherhood. I declare they will. And we might as well start with Mr. Conductor. Yeah, who's the loser now? Well, listen on, you prize fighters. Don't you play him too cheap. Listen, all you prize fighters, don't you play him too cheap. Well, if he lands with either hand, he'll sure put you to the seat. He will. Son, I want you to remember this night, because it's a night of hope. Tonight we're all the men, we're all prize fighters. Dad, help me sing my song.
Listen, all you prize fighters,
Well,
don't you play him too cheap.
come on.
Listen, all you prize fighters, don't you play him too cheap.
Well.
If he lands with your hand, he'll sure put you to your seat.
Tell him something about his son.
Oh, and he packs the dynamite in his left, and he carries the plunging right.
He don't wanna make you groggy or high as a kite.
He charges his opponent from the beginning of the dawn.
He better submit to submission and they all sing a song.
Listen, all you prize fighters, don't you play him too cheap.
Well, so take a tip from me.
Stay off Joe Lewis's beat.
Wow, he's the man.
Go get your money, Dad.
Pullman Porter Blues, it opens at the Goodman Theatre. It's playing now on Garden Sunday. So we should all get tickets, all of us, all 175 of us. We are a sold-out show tonight, a very packed sold-out show. They were fantastic, so wonderful. I'm so glad you guys like them. We have you mic'd up now, right? So you're back with us.
Could you not hear him?
Did everybody hear
Not
me?
a single word did anybody hear during that whole
I
last
think his
segment.
mic may have been out, but
You did?
Yeah, well,
Really?
you're in
How about the
front.
back of the house?
Yeah, it's just your voice.
Do you know why that is? You know why that is? $20,000 my parents paid for me to go to the University of Illinois
Oh, thank you.
and study theater and voice.
Well, you see, this is what it takes to
It was
survive.
worth it.
Yeah, it was.
Just
If
for
they
this
could hear
one
me, if they
moment,
could hear
so the
me.
people in the back could hear you.
Okay, so now I have a question for Katie because I'm completely moving on from Robert
Yeah!
Falls. I'm not talking to him anymore. So, okay, I took, and I recommend this to everyone because it's so incredibly therapeutic, and I think there's so many life lessons to be learned from improv. So I took improv for actors at Second City, which I loved. And you get all these great tidbits, right? So, today is the day, explore and heighten, all these wonderful things. Of course, Katie can tell you much more about it than I. But one of the things is be in the moment. Because if you're thinking about the joke you're going to tell 3 minutes from now, then you can't really be playing off your partner and being good with that. So I want to know how you stay in the moment and really enjoy your career, because again, so many actors would like to be in your position. Second City, it's going really well, and at the same time have your sights on Saturday Night Live or something bigger. Like, how do you guys stay focused in and then trying to get bigger, better, etc.?
Yeah, you have to. It's just a constant battle of being so grateful for what you have.
Yes, right.
But also just having one eye on the future. I see you out there. It was always since I was 13, I wanted to be on the main stage, and so.
Oh, really?
Now that I got it, now it's kind of oh, now what do I do? I got to find another dream.
How from 13? I mean, have you seen
When I was
shows they let you into that?
Yes,
place?
when I was in high school.
Yeah.
We did a field trip to Second City, and the
Wow.
first show I saw had Steve Carell and Stephen Colbert.
Oh my God.
No one that they weren't that
Yeah,
Wow.
they weren't themselves yet.
yet.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. And so I was.
They were in the pupae stage.
Yeah, they were a little larger, and I just remember just being oh shit, like people do, like you can do this. This is a real thing. And
someday they'll be beautiful.
Someday they'll fly. You don't know it now, but someday you'll fly. And so it just to get the opportunity to do it has been amazing.
Yeah.
So now it's like
I interviewed a bunch of people from Cirque du Soleil, and they also said the same
very
thing.
similar to
That they
flying.
that they had seen it once as a kid, and just you know, it's such a particular thing, and they decided that they wanted to do that forever.
Wait, did you go to college?
Barely.
Right.
Oh no, she's like the total Chicago person because you're at Second City, you went to Northwestern. I mean,
college took me 7 years.
In Northwestern?
Okay.
No, I was only there for 2.
The last
Wait, what'd you do the other
You got your
5?
So I got the degree from
okay,
there.
good for
Yeah,
you.
exactly. Yeah.
That was smart.
Yeah, I know.
Where were the other 7?
2 of them were at this little hippie school, and then the rest of them I don't remember. But all
Was there a rehab in the middle?
There should have been. But all total, it took me about 7 years. But I majored in psychology. I didn't major in theater. I took an acting class at Northwestern, and I hated it.
Really?
Yeah, good for
Why?
you.
I hated actors.
Well, what about you, David, to stay in the moment? Like, how do you, like, because of course actors
I thought we were going to talk about hating actors. 'Cause I hate them too. I much prefer musicians and comedians.
Why do you hate actors?
Actually. Huh?
Why do you hate actors?
No, they're great. They're a great bunch.
Sure.
They're, you know what the problem is? It's just like any job. And I've been lucky, like, you know, Katie was talking about
But
like,
actually, I'm going to ask you to scoot up a little bit because I think my camera can't get you. Because
but I can't
He
see
was
someone.
so sassy. He was so
I want
sideline. You know what it is? That's
No,
theater training.
they're fine.
Sidelines.
Yeah,
Sidelines.
exactly. You want upstairs.
They're okay. They're
The
okay. Let's
lovely
get you in
Katie
the
here.
camera.
But what were you talking about?
why do you hate actors?
No, he
yeah,
doesn't.
Well, there's a lot of good actors, but you know, any job you have, it's like I'm sure everybody. Like, you go to a job and there's one asshole, and it ruins the fucking job. And you know, you go in, and you go, "This is a great job." If that asshole wasn't here,
We're so on the edge of actually naming names. Two more drinks. 2 more drinks over here, and the names start coming out.
You should have named names when your mic was off.
Oh, I know.
Yes, we had a moment
You
there.
had that opportunity.
So,
God.
but you know, and you remember them, unfortunately, you know, and,
Right, yeah.
they stick in your craw. But then the wonderful actors, they're the ones that like I really, when you love an actor, you really love an actor.
Yeah.
And so much to learn from them, probably.
You
and the give
carry
and
them
take.
with you, yeah. They
right,
get stuck inside you,
Yeah,
you
it's
know.
nice.
They really do.
Yeah.
And I have somebody stuck inside me right now. And
That's by choice.
yeah.
I never would have thought that this show would have started so low, and it's just going to stay there. It's going to stay at that level for the whole show.
No, it really could. It really
I
could.
know it could. It could get worse.
We're just
actually.
being ourselves.
Yes, you are.
We're in the moment.
I'm just saying.
You're so in the moment.
Yeah, that's it. Because you know, when you're in the moment, it's not. You can't be in the moment. You can't go like, all right, I'm being in the moment.
Yeah,
right.
You can only just wonder, and like I wonder. People are wondering, what the fuck is he talking about? And that brings people into the moment. If you wonder about something, you wonder what you know about the question you're asking. Or why there's 3 lights? You wonder whatever you wonder. I wonder about things, and that sometimes brings me into the moment, or doesn't.
No, I
But
agree with that.
do you have your eye on? I mean, Chicago Fire is doing so well, which starts.
It's doing okay.
It's doing well. Come
It's
on
doing
now.
okay.
Here's Christopher Pullman on the show.
We take
Come on,
next week.
it's no glee.
It's no great.
Really. Although singing, I'd love to see those firemen singing.
You know what?
Oh my
We got
God.
some singers.
I
We do.
bet.
We got like 4. We got 2 Juilliard actors. They're fucking good. And I was like, oh, Juilliard. I'm like, you know, I went to like the school, a Sweat Hog School of Acting, you know.
Sweat Hog.
And they're like, what are Sweat Hogs? And I'm like, oh.
That's why I didn't
But the
major in it.
Juilliard kids are freaking great.
Yeah, they're good, yeah.
They're really good, and they can sing.
Yeah.
I can't sing, man.
You keep saying that.
No, I really can't. I want to. I wish, but I can't. So
So we won't make you.
yeah, don't make me.
You will
know?
not have to.
But I love to watch people sing.
I can't sing either, and I'm gonna sing here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So
So
glad.
actually, speaking of singing, I
Transition.
have a tweet for you, but I'm going to hold on. We're doing this a little early because we're talking about singing, so maybe you should go and sing.
See?
maybe-
Okay.
it's a
Natural transition, singing.
So we're going to get Katie up here singing. She's not exactly Yemi Marie.
No, I'm not Yemi Marie at
But
all.
there's hope. There's hope.
There's no hope.
There's no hope.
There's no But I got it. Julie should be coming up here. Julie Nichols is
Julie is
musical
coming up
director
here.
at the main stage Second City, and she's fantastic.
And I want my cameramen to give me a shout out if they've got what they need. I know they're working hard to keep up with David. He's going
tell
back
David
and
to
forth.
move up.
So yes, okay, but now he's up, but you're not saying anything. It doesn't
I
help
also
me.
play an instrument.
Yes, okay, so we're gonna see your musical talent.
Then she brought out the xylophone.
Yeah, I play an instrument. Julie! This is Julie Nichols.
John Nichols! Have a seat. Have a seat.
That's my headshot.
Yes, that is your headshot.
So people know who I am.
That's what you sent me.
Ready? Yeah, I'm ready. Sometimes you meet someone and you date them till someone better comes along. And you know that it was cruel to lead them on so wrong. But someone's done the same thing except the roles reversed. You thought that person was the best, but they thought you were the worst. All we want in life is to be someone to somebody else. You know the old saying, to the world you might just be one person, but to one person you might just be the world. But that world might just be a post-apocalyptic Blade Runner hellscape. No matter what, parents always have a least favorite child. And therapists always have at least one client where they're like, oh, just kill yourself! You're always someone to someone. You're always somebody's Newman. The person that ruins the moment. Sometimes it's actually you, man. Sorry about that. Here in this theater tonight, there's a group of people who bought tickets to come see this show together, and I guarantee you that in that group of people, there's at least one person who was invited purely out of obligation. Yeah, some of you are realizing that it's you. Do you ever worry that right before you open the door to your local Starbucks, the barista turns to one of her coworkers and says, "This bitch"? Or that your whole life you've actually been retarded, but no one's had the heart to tell you? That guy knows. You're always someone to someone. Hi. Hi. What are you two to each other? We're married. You're married? Do you agree with that? For 33 years you've been married? Holy shit, yeah, clap, clap. Wow. And where do you guys live? Indiana.
Whoa.
Oh, thanks for coming. Gosh.
Thank you for coming all the way from Indiana.
Wasn't
As
that far.
Well, as my friend Tawny says, all of the racism of the South was none of the beauty. That's Tawny. I didn't come up with that. Okay, so what do you do in Indiana? What is your job? Civil servant. You're a civil servant? And do you want to say more, or do you just want to leave it at that? And what do you do? You're a manager? That's like you sell shiny rocks? So are you a manager of a jewelry store or a crack dealer? You don't want to answer? Fine. Okay, so how did you... College. And where was college?
Syracuse University.
Syracuse University. Fantastic. And do you remember where you were when you first met?
Yeah.
Drunk.
You were drunk.
You fit right in.
Yeah. And how did he propose to you, or did you propose to him?
Well, I knew it was happening.
You knew it was coming.
Yeah, so really
He's a jewelry guy. No.
Get honesty.
He did get honesty? Where were you?
And this beat up piece of shit house that we lived in.
You were in a piece of shit house that you lived in. And he was like, I can probably do better than this. You were begging her. I mean, you're not going to do much better than that, buddy. And these are your kids?
Yeah. They're fantastic.
You guys are fantastic? Do you agree with that? Of course you do. That's pretty cool your parents took you here. Like, I feel like my parents would be like, we'll go mini golf and we'll just drink and you can just golf by yourself. They're older than I think. What are you, in your 40s? No?
Not quite.
Not quite? 20, I was gonna say, I hope you're old enough to drink, because they're drinking. Well, you guys are lovely. Congratulations. What a lovely family. I'm so glad you guys found each other. I'm sure you're glad they found each other too, or you wouldn't be here. Yeah, right. Well, thank you so much for coming here tonight. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you for talking to me. Good. You're always someone to someone.
Yeah. Crushed it.
I know.
As you said, Mr. Frank, she crushed it.
Leave that
How
thing.
good? No, we can't, because it's an
No,
show.
God.
It's an equity.
We already forgot it. This is
No.
an equity xylophone. Yeah, she's right.
There's not enough soup.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, so I have a tweet for Katie. And of course, this person has won 2 tickets to Second City.
Oh.
Not a bad way to go, not a bad way to go. And this is perfect. So she wants to know, how do you actually try out for SNL? Because she should be on Saturday Night Live. Is she not?
Oh, yes.
She is so funny. You have been robbed. I agree. So, how is
She was my understudy at Second City.
Say that out loud.
Wait, say that again. I want everyone to hear that.
I asked a very simple question. I said, who's that bitch from Second City who got the Weekend Update position?
She was my understudy on the main stage.
No, you were robbed. Very literally.
She's fantastic.
So this girl, Liz B. Chicago, wants to know, how do you actually try out for SNL? Do they scout Second City all the time, or do you have to send an audition tape? How does that go?
Yeah, they come. I mean, they come to Second City. They go New York, LA, Chicago, and if they like you, they'll fly you out, and you have to do 5 minutes.
That's it.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't really do impressions.
Right.
One of my impressions was Maxine from Shoebox Greetings.
That's a reference. Which, you get that reference?
Well, I ended up not
They
doing
didn't
it.
either.
I ended up not doing it.
Who is Maxine from Shoebox?
You don't remember Shoebox Greetings?
No.
The old lady with the dog who's like, I want my attitude problem. You don't remember Maxine?
Oh, this explains why you didn't get on this.
That's right. I didn't even know.
The room was like stunned with.
I didn't do it though,
All right.
because Billy actually looked at my audition and was like, don't do that.
Billy, let's hear it for Billy.
Billy Bogart is a fantastic director at Second City, and then in addition, he plays with JC in the Uptown Sound,
Oh.
which I love. JC Brooks in the Uptown Sound.
But there's been a lot of shit's come out lately about SNL because they've hired so many people. So she can read. There's a New York Times article that everybody who got it and who didn't get it talks about.
Did you come up through the ranks? Did you go right in, or did you start classes, or then
I never
go
took
into the
classes
touring
in Second
company?
City. I was
Did you have to
actually-
do the shitty tours and stuff?
Yeah, oh yeah. I toured
what was
for
the
3
shittiest?
years.
What was the shittiest?
We were talking
tour?
about earlier. Remember the casino?
On the cruise.
Oh, yeah.
No, the cruise was not.
Oh, the casino.
that wasn't
The
Second
We
casino.
were in a casino. We were at a Muckluck casino in Yakima, Washington. Wow. For 2 weeks. And the thing is, like, no, Muckleshoot. Muckluck is a shoot. That's even worse. Muckleshoot.
Do you know what she's talking about? She's talking about, before you get to the main stage, Second City actors will tour in Muckleshoot or something.
You
and
just
they'll-
tour all over.
They'll tour all over on
You-
cruise
Is that
ships.
is Muckle shoot shit you wear, or you go there?
That's the name of the
That's
casino.
right.
That's okay, all right.
But
Muckleshoot.
what town is it in?
Yakima. And what people do when you're at a show at a casino, you are a loser. You're literally a loser. Because you're not going to go to the show if you're winning money. And so there was a guy, we were just talking about him today. There was a guy in the front row with a hooker, a Yakima hooker.
Why did you go to that hotel?
And it was
What are you doing, David?
And all he would do is
My wife
repeat.
is here, please.
She knows.
Didn't you have to marry her?
She knew what she what we would say. So like the guy would be like, "Hi, welcome to the second city." "Hi, welcome to the second city." like this is, we're adults. This is what we're doing with our
That
lives.
is so hard. That is such pure torture.
It was awful,
It's
but it was
awful.
so fun. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't work at a coal mine. You know what I mean? Like, I can't
Yeah.
complain.
That's right. No, of course. Of course. Well, and you know what's so interesting about comedy is, for women in particular, it has changed so much. And so everybody thinks it's
Still needs to change
It
a
still
lot.
needs to change
Wait,
a lot.
how many women are on the main stage?
3,
How many were there in 1959?
Probably none.
2, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe
Really?
1.
That's great.
Maybe 1.
So that's a tremendous growth since 1959.
But it's not just the growth. It's also the way they do
How many
comedy
guys?
has changed.
What's the
17.
17
No,
guys?
there's 3 guys, 3 girls.
Oh, okay.
What's the population of women? What's the percentage of women in this country?
More than half. 51%.
Absolutely right. Yeah. Yes, but it's not just how many are at Second City. It's the sort of content they do. You know, that's changed too, because before it couldn't be anything but sort of self-deprecating. And
Yeah.
I mean, and it's not just Tina Fey who, I mean, you think of Tina Fey, but she sort of was the publicity bubble that popped. But of course, many people leading up to her were trying to change things, but it's been tough. I remember when Jane Curtin said that in her days of SNL, like Belushi was always saying like, women can't be funny, you've got to get off the show. Yeah, so I mean, it hasn't always been an easy road for.
No, people still say that. I mean, here's the thing, and Meryl Streep had this article, or not this article, she had an interview on NPR that I thought put it the best. She's like, when a guy comes on the screen, 100% of the people watching identify with him. When a woman comes on the screen, half the people identify. So like, if I go and watch Mission Impossible and Tom Cruise is there, I can follow that protagonist and I'm invested, and so are you, and you know. But when it's
I
a
was
woman,
not invested at all.
You were.
I actually divested. I saw the Mission Impossible.
Oh wait, is there a good story there? Okay.
But you know what I mean? Like, but if a woman goes, it's really, guys tend to not really necessarily invest with the female protagonist.
Right.
As much as a woman will.
Yeah.
Right?
And not only that, in terms of a storyline, but also breaking down to being able to get through that door has been sort of a long
Well,
road.
I mean, I think that is a very similar thing. It's a giant issue in the theater right now, actually, is that for a long time, women writers have been marginalized
Absolutely.
in the
Yes, right.
theater.
Sure.
And I mean, an example is this wonderful performance of Pullman Quarter Blues. Cheryl West is the author of that play.
Wonderful.
And there was a period of time when, you know, and you just didn't see that as
Right.
often. So
And-
women have been marginalized in many ways.
Regina Taylor, who's a wonderful screenwriter, wonderful writer of plays and also of screen.
And an actress.
And an actress, yes, wonderful. She was on, okay, but who hasn't been on the dinner party? We had Billy Bungaroth, Tim Kazurinsky, and we had Regina Taylor, of course, who was wonderful, so talented.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, you had Sex in the City, so that's a little different.
How
That's
much
so-
sex did you have in the city?
Yes. Did you get anything
I'm
done?
having it right now.
It's so bad for me. It's so bad for
Is
me.
that inappropriate?
Doesn't make sense. I don't care if it's inappropriate. I just want it to make sense.
Okay, so any good background story for Sex in the City? Because there's got to be something.
Background
She
story?
wants.
Yes, I want
she's
some
been digging.
scuttlebutt,
She's
yes.
been digging for dirt.
Yeah, no,
all
really well.
night.
Yes, I have been. Yes.
All night long. She
I'm
wants
not the
their
only
story.
one who wants
She
it.
wants names.
Yes,
The
I
sad
do.
thing is that like when you work on a really good show, which Sex and the
Right.
City was,
What was-
everybody shows up on time,
Yeah.
nobody's drunk, nobody does coke, nobody sleeps with anybody. Our biggest dirt story was our script supervisor was sleeping with one of the grips. And he was married, and the pregnant wife showed up on set and was like,
Ouch.
"You want to suck his dick? Go ahead. He's all yours." That was the script supervisor in one of the grips.
That's pretty good.
But the
That's
thing,
pretty
the
good.
sad thing is you work, like, reporters are always asking that, and it's like, ask me about the shitty shows I worked on.
Yeah.
People were doing drugs, and they were sleeping with hookers, and they were doing everything.
But how does a show get done that way? I guess that's what it's bad.
Well, the bad shows, that's the only way you get through them.
I see. Okay, right. Yeah.
All right, can I tell? I'm going to name
Oh,
two
good.
names. I'm
Oh,
going to
good.
name two names.
Good,
Come on.
good, good.
Oh, good.
I don't think I'm
Good.
ever going to see
Good.
them again.
Good.
Yeah.
No, I'm never two names. I had nothing. I didn't work with either of them, but I was actually.
It's not me, is it?
No. There was a play. It was the same story. It was a play called Lie of the Mind by Sam Shepard,
Oh, yeah.
and it was on Broadway. It had this amazing cast. It was like all these wonderful people were in it. Sam Shepard wrote it, and at the time he was living with Jessica Lange, and I had a friend who was in the show. Aidan Quinn was in the show.
Whom I love, and he's a Chicago actor
He's a
who went
Chicago
to
actor.
Pivot Theater Workshop.
He
came from Pivot
played
Theater Workshop.
Hamlet for me when he was 25 years old.
Well, we all have resumes.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
And we're all in this, and I was hanging out with Aiden, and we all went to a bar, and we're playing pool, and suddenly Jessica Lange comes in. She bursts in, and she grabs a pool cue, and she goes, "You're fucking her, aren't you?" And she starts hitting Sam Shepard over the head.
And that's why I don't like actors.
I think that's a great story.
It was a shitty show he was working on.
I just thought that was really...
And
it was
she really
terrible.
came in and did that?
Yes, that's absolutely true. She just started beating him over the head, and he's going, "No, I didn't, no, I didn't." And she's like throwing...
What a reasonable way to deal with
Isn't that
something.
great?
That is great. I love her.
But she's a great actress. I do. I love her.
Wow.
Okay, he says no.
You
He was
can't get
silent on
much
that.
of that woman.
I said she's a great actress, and he said nothing.
I did a production that ultimately had like the greatest actress in the world, Vanessa Redgrave, playing Long Day's Journey to Night.
Yes.
Yeah, she'd be thrilled with the club. And she'd be so happy. Yeah, exactly. No, I have 2 Oscars, and they applauded me in Chicago.
Barely. That was a barely applause.
And we were talking, now I'm naming names. Give me another glass of wine. And it's like, yeah, please. And it's like, originally we were kind of like Jessica Lange said, would you, I'm interested in playing that role. And we went and met with Jessica Lange, and she goes, "So who else is in this play?" And I said, "Well, Brian Dennehy's doing it, and Robert Sean Leonard's doing it, and Philip Seymour Hoffman's doing it."
Great. Wow.
It's great.
Yes.
And she said, a little worried I may get lost in the crowd.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, she might have.
She might have. So she chose not to do the play, which was the greatest thing ever.
Right.
And when was this?
Story died.
Sorry. When was this? So, okay. No one is surprised by Vanessa Redgrave's reaction.
I went and saw King Lear
Yeah. Oh.
with Brian Dennehy.
Yeah.
And
It was Stacy
wonderful, too.
Keach, actually.
Well, they're the same to me. He should be as understanding.
Big Irish mugs.
I guess it was Stacy Keach. I don't know. But everyone stood. I mean, that play could have sucked. And everyone stands.
Yeah.
A Chicago ovation.
Right.
It's like everyone always stands. Right. And I was like, and then my boyfriend at the time, he stood right up, and I was like,
So you were really pissed they were standing up for my show.
I wasn't pissed, but I was like, I feel like, did you feel like they stand a lot just because?
I am appalled at people standing up at shows.
it's so
They
much.
stand up at every show.
That's
I
what
find
I'm
it like,
saying.
it kills me.
Who cares?
Well, I'm.
There'll be no standing up.
Yes,
Don't you dare give us a standing ovation.
Don't you dare stand up.
I'll be so pissed.
They stand up far.
If you stand for me. I like it.
He needs it.
The more expensive the ticket, the more they stand because
Right.
I paid so much money for this.
And then you feel like an asshole because you're like, oh, I guess.
Okay,
I'll
wait. So you don't think they should stand because you have to really earn it? Like it has to be exceptional to stand?
Yes,
What's the standing standard?
Very, very low.
It's so low, I think.
Yeah, she
and
was-
it wasn't good. I'm not saying it wasn't good. I'm just saying.
It's nice of you.
I saw Wayne Newton in Las Vegas. Right, you laughed at that.
You stood for it?
You were on
so
your feet
old.
as soon as he came out.
But he had a little card. No wait. He had a little card. He had a little card. Where it says in one hand it says, it's like a split of champagne is this, the bottle of wine is this, and on the other side of the card it
Is he the
says.
Don Shane guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't know who Wayne Newton is?
Yes,
No, I just had to.
But on the other side of the card, it said, "Mr. Newton is accustomed to and expects a standing ovation after every performance." It said he expects it.
And you don't want him to feel badly about you for giving him $200.
I would have kneeled. I would have squatted.
How about a squatting ovation?
I'd get as tiny as I could.
And then you take the napkin and you just kind of like.
Okay, wait, I want to ask David about now that you've gotten sort of famous. How has that changed? Sort of quasi.
Sort of.
You're marginally successful.
Sort of.
I can get a seat on the subway.
Well, how is it? I mean, what's the good and bad of everyone wants to be famous, right? Like you want to get on SNL, but
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No.
No, I don't. Okay, so no, she doesn't. But your life's gonna change probably if you do sort of land something like Sex and the City. So, I mean, how did that shift everything for you?
People recognize you, truck drivers and, and crazy people notice you. And then you realize very quickly that it really doesn't mean anything. It actually has zero value. It means nothing. And
is it bothersome? Gets in the way? Annoying?
No. Like I know actors, not anybody I'm working with now. I won't name names. I haven't had as much wine as Robert. But some actors really complain about it. They go, I can't go out of my house. And I fortunately can go out of my house. I can pretty much go anywhere I want. And, maybe a drunk person will be like, hey, I go to high school with you. The weird thing is about
give him some more.
That thing, yeah. People do the weirdest thing because I work on television. It pretty much excludes. I mean, I did a couple of great shows on Broadway, but people don't really.
We all have resumes.
Yeah, I work a couple places, but if you know me from television, and no one wants to admit that they actually watch television. So they'll go like, where do I know you from? I went through like a 15-minute dissertation with, and I can't. If you tell somebody.
Say where they know you from?
No, you can't. They immediately go, no, I never watched that. Or they do they become weird. They become really fucking weird. So my wife is here. She sees me do this routine all the time. Where do I know you from? I don't know. Maybe we went to high school. Maybe I started to do the Steve and Miranda kind of.
Yeah,
how about you're that guy?
You're
that guy. You're
that guy. And I'll go, what guy? And I'll go, I don't know. Where do I know you from? And then we do the circle. It becomes unbearable at times. And it's a dance. It's a weird dance that nobody here has ever experienced, but me. But it's weird. It's a weird, fucking awful dance. That sucked. But other actors complain about this stuff. It's like, nobody put a gun to my head and said, go on television now or we'll kill you.
In the City, right?
I'm screaming a lot tonight.
You set the tone.
And he actually doesn't drink. So he's the only one who has had no alcohol.
My wife has never said, we've been together 11. Where are you, babe?
She's in here.
Are you over there?
Oh, that's a good answer.
I knocked her up like 20 weeks ago and she has hated me ever since. If that EPT had a sharp end on it, it would have been stuck in my neck. I'm kidding.
That's not a bad idea. Pregnancy test shiv.
It should. If it comes up.
Or maybe the other way.
What, she stabs herself?
You kill yourself.
Oh, I kill myself?
Yeah. I don't want this.
No,
Too dark. Karen, too dark. Okay, so now that you're on Chicago Fire, what has that experience been like for you? Because of course, Chicago Fire, I don't know if you guys know this, they're shooting right here in Chicago, which is so cool. Yes. You play Christopher Herman on the show, which is a really exciting show. Actually, it's a great show.
I was just in Germany promoting the show. And
in Germany?
I was in Germany.
All right, who dubbed? Wait a minute, I want to ask this question.
Okay.
Have you met the guy? This is a really wonderful thing. When you met the guy who dubs you in German.
I didn't get to meet him.
But there is a guy.
There is a guy.
It's so great that you go thinking.
He's like He was like doing the thing.
And you're like thinking they're appreciating my acting, and there's just some fat Bavarian guy sitting in front of a microphone in a studio in Munich going, "Sie zum Wurzeln." And you're like huge in Germany. You're like lovely in Germany.
David Hasselhoff is a big deal in Germany.
Oh my God.
Yes. But I'm the only Jewish guy on the show. So they send me to Germany. So they keep on going. I did like 4 times. And people go, yeah, you like Christopher Herman on the show? He's German. I was like, no, he's like a German American. I was like, yeah, Eigenberg. Yeah, German. I was like, I didn't want to say anything, but I was not going to say like I'm German. I'm like,
wait a minute, you started your career in construction?
Yeah. And I'm a Jew.
Why don't do that?
One guy did. One guy built shit. Then he left the tribe. But whatever. But so then they go, yeah, you're German.
Pyramids mostly. It was pyramids.
Yeah, they built the pyramids. He did a lot of shit. But
one guy.
and then you go like, no, I'm a Polish Jew, and they go, so you enjoy Munich? They just skate away from it, which I didn't want to say anything, but like, you kind of can't call me a German.
No.
I mean,
it's not going to work exactly. Right.
Did you take any trains while you were there?
No. We can go down a hall.
Look at this wine glass. Okay.
Listen, we're going out there tonight. You're going. We're going. Let's go.
You have to
Does David have any tweets?
Well, David
Nobody
does,
tweets me.
He doesn't like tweeting.
I
David
don't like
does
tweets.
have a tweet, but I wanted to hear about Chicago Fire a little bit because it's filming right here.
Well, you brought up Christopher Herman, and then,
Yes,
then
Christopher
the dinner
Herman.
party started, and the story started. No, we've had a great time. You're making me all sincere now. I have to be. I love my colleagues.
Yes,
good.
We're making the cool thing is, like, we've been in Chicago. I mean, if you've been in Los Angeles or New York, doing the firefighter thing and
I
first
just wanted to make sure
responder.
my cameraman get you, so scoot up to the table.
Oh boy, you are in such trouble.
I know. Whatever. Fine.
Okay.
So they
Fire me.
You're
on a show called
Babe, where
Chicago
am I?
Fire.
All right, I'm good. No, if we've done it in Los Angeles and New York, I think the first, we work with a lot of first responders here, and they've really kind of like stitched them. Like I was, like 2 hours ago, I was like in my bunker gear and working with a bunch of real firefighters, and the first responders of this city they're busy in this town.
Yes,
and,
right, yeah.
And they've been busy over the years. They're a really aggressive department, the firefighters and the first responders. They jump into stuff that people don't jump into. Like, somebody like impales himself and smashes himself into the wall and they're stuck on a hook, man. They go, come on, we're gonna get you off. Like most of us would be like, and they just jump on stuff, and I really love them. And they've become a huge part of our show.
I didn't know that you worked directly with them.
We're hard.
Are they consultants or
They're consultants, and then they do background with us. Like, and they do like some of the smaller parts.
That's great.
So, we're not like rocket scientists. They didn't hire, they hired me. So,
Well, I bet you get along really well with them, actually. I mean, I've seen, so David, I just met David, of course, a little while ago. He has taken the hand of every server, every cameraman, really, you have been really
these
wonderful.
people are fantastic.
And
Well,
they are. The staff here is wonderful, but I mean, you've really gone out of your way to introduce yourself, to really be like a one-on-one, very, very personable.
Yeah, Katie and I talk to nobody.
They just drink and bitch.
If anybody
But
looks
this
me in
one's
the
really
eye,
nice.
shove them with
It was so nice to the little people.
I went to work in a hotel in New York one time, and they were like, they go, we're looking for a doorman. They said, you're not tall enough or good looking enough, but we have a room. We have a job in the boiler room.
For the janitor.
So I took it. I worked there for like a year. I take what comes to me. So.
Right, and the same is true with acting, right? Because
I'm not 6'5". You would have been a doorman at New York.
He's not 6'5" anymore either.
Oh yeah, you lost an inch.
Like a doorman.
You lost an inch.
Okay, as exciting
but it
as
was the right inch.
I have a tweet for you. So this person is not only winning a T-shirt and a hat from Chicago Fire, which is kind of fun and cool, but they're also winning a case of Voss water because you might get thirsty after watching Chicago Fire. So that person is at Costumier Vintage. Which city inspires you more, Chicago or New York? Ooh, yummy.
Chicago.
Yes, tell him how to answer.
Chicago, because
New York, see what happens.
and not because I'm here.
Right.
No, I actually, you know what? I was on. I found this old. I don't have it with me. I should Google it. There's this Carl Sandburg poem, and I think we're working in Chicago. We work with Chicago people, and in Chicago, when we started the show, one of the creators was like, it's a city born of fire.
Yeah.
Because, 1873, I think it was, 1876, when the city burned down, the city exploded, in construction. But this was a city of a rich, deep, dirty history. I mean, it was tramps and prostitutes and, connivers and thieves, and it was a rough town because this was a trade route.
It's right.
Through the Great Lakes down here, you hitch a ride down to the southern part of Lake Michigan, and you get to the Mississippi. And it was a hard trade. It was a hard trade in the city. And it was born on that. And it's a tough town. And we, fortunately, on Chicago Fire, we go all around the city. We don't spend we go to uncomfortable neighborhoods where it's rough.
Yeah.
And you see the people in the neighborhoods, and you see some of the stuff go down. We've done ride-alongs with the folks, and I see kids get shot. You see that after kids get shot, and you show up and you go like, what happened, And the kids are like, they won't say nothing, and you see, craziness. But it's a city with a lot of heart. So there's this Carl Sandburg poem called Chicago, and it's where the city of the big shoulders comes from.
Right, yeah.
And he talks about the city where people may you speak of it disparagingly. It's a workman's city. It's where lives get screwed up and lives get ruined. People say bad things about it, where things bad happen. I'm not doing the poem justice at all.
No, most people probably know the poem.
Somebody pulled it up.
Yeah. There's somebody Google for us. Somebody who's really good at this. Google fast.
But then it talks about how they laugh, how the people in Chicago laugh.
Well, it's a natural city, right? People are really, there's not the affectations that you have on
There's
either
this thing
side.
I've always said about Chicago, and we come back, all three of us sort of, our roots beginning in Chicago,
Sure.
is that it's a city, for me, what makes it really distinctive, and I think what's made it an extraordinary city in the arts, is that you just get up, it's a working city, you said it, but we get up, and we go to work.
Yeah.
And this is really genuine. It's a city, unlike New York, where you've worked in a lot, you've lived in there for a long time, probably more than Chicago, right? You spent more of your life. Is that this is a true story, that in New York, you really, overnight, you can become a superstar.
Yeah.
And also, overnight, your career can just end in flames.
Yeah.
Right.
Depending sometimes on what the New York Times says, or depending on what happens. And the thing about Chicago, historically, is you just get up and you do your work.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I mean, the thing about Chicago that I always loved was and I go back to the 70s, you started in the 80s, you started 3 years ago.
Thank you.
Is that, I always just say in Chicago, the rents are cheap and the beer is cheap.
Good way to start.
And it's very different than New York or LA. And what that means is actually that it doesn't matter. If you get a great review on a Tuesday night, or you get a terrible review on a Wednesday night.
Why'd you point to me?
I know, it's true. You get up, no matter what that review is, you get up and you go to work.
Because you're still doing the work that you
do
love.
the work, and literally in New York, if you got that review, it changes your life.
Yeah.
Or it changes your life if it's really terrible, and it doesn't change it. We talked about an actress. There's so many. We talked about all those names we're not going to name, although I named a few. There's an extraordinary actor in town, Amy Morton.
Oh, she's wonderful.
Who, just extraordinary.
Trying to get her on the show, actually.
And she's one of the great actors in America, but that's
right.
because she's been one of the great actors since 1980 in Chicago, doing her work. That show, August Osage County, that made all of them, made her famous, right?
Yeah.
Or it doesn't matter if it's Malkovich, or if it's John Cusack, or if it's John Belushi, or if it's Tina Fey, or, we can go down the list of Chicago actors. Yeah. It's because, or Tim Kazurinsky, it's because you got to get up and you do your work, and that's what's important about it, don't you think?
Absolutely.
So I write for the Huffington Post, and I did something on this subject, and I interviewed 50 artists of all, chefs and fashion designers, as well as actors.
Really good,
it's so good.
This is so good.
And they all said the
Is the
exact
chef
same
in the
thing.
house?
Yes,
Let's
of
applaud the
course.
chef. Did you guys get the chicken at the same time
Of
we
course
did?
you did. Of course they did. Okay, so we're talking about food. Let's skip right to food. Then let's just see what the chef has done for us. Let's see if we can roll that video.
So next, we're going to be doing spit-roasted Slagle Farm chicken with bitter greens and nectarines and sheep's milk feta. So the spit roasting process, we kind of built the restaurant around it. It's a slow, indirect cooking process. You can flavor anything you want with whatever kind of wood you want. We use apple and cherry for the flavor, and then white oak for the heat. So you get a nice base of white oak embers down, and then you start stoking the fruit wood on top of it. So for the chicken, we do a sugar and salt brine overnight, at least 12 hours, 24 at the most. And then we kind of make this big rub of all these really beautiful dried spices, thyme, oregano, parsley, garlic powder, onion powder, chili flakes, dill. We get the chickens from Slagle Farm. They have a really beautiful layer of yellow fat that kind of really helps, and it disintegrates as the birds spit roasting kind of bastes the whole thing. There's a very low water content, not like the shit that's injected with, when they say in grocery stores or whatever, may contain up to 10%, blah, blah, blah. It's a preservative, and you'll never shake that. You'll just end up steaming your chicken, no matter if you're roasting it or braising it or frying it or whatever. All it's going to do is steam. If you guys can hear it behind me, like that crazy sizzle, that means the joints, the wing joints and the shoulder joint, and I know chickens don't have knees, but the knee joint, whatever they are, that means they got hot, the cartilage separated, and like whatever liquid was in there all of a sudden went up to a quick 212 degrees, turned to steam, and now you can hear that pop sizzle. That's almost when you know a chicken's done. All we're gonna do is take our bitter greens. This is radicchio from Nichols Farm. Extremely bitter. We don't treat it any way other than, a lot of people like soak their bitter greens in like salt water or something like that because it alleviates like that kind of harsh, holy shit bitterness that you get like top middle of your tongue and back along your jowls. But it's like that's what the vegetable is, and it's like if you want to manipulate it, go talk to Monsanto. I just got real. A little bit of black pepper, lemon, and olive oil. This is a real buttery Spanish olive oil. They actually do sell this at Whole Foods, which is where I buy it for my house. It's called Núñez de Prado. It's an organic Spanish olive oil. It's super duper good. And then we get this, it's sheep's milk feta. Just gonna scatter this all over. Just kind of get in there. What's your dish? Spit roasted chicken, summer fruit, sheep's milk feta, bitter greens. Easy to make, super delicious. Guys, it's been really fun cooking for you at the dinner party. Come down and see us whenever you'd like. 2119 South Halstead. We're down in Pilsen. For those of you that think it's the other side of the planet, all you have to do is pretend you're going to a vac and then stay on the freeway for 3 minutes.
Jason Vincent! So he should be ready to come out. I think we've got him very close. Very close. He might be right around the corner, hopefully. Here he is, Jason Vincent! Ready to belly up! Come on, belly up to the table with us. Back! Maybe Rachel can get us a glass so that we can pour you some wine. Would you like some wine, sir?
I'll take a water.
Water? What the heck? Do you not know the table that you're at?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Can I
if you
ask you a
change your
question?
mind, here's some wine for you.
How do chefs, not all of them stay thin, but how does a chef possibly deal with the world of food? I mean, there are those, famous fat chefs, but when you're like thin, how does that work?
I'm bulimic.
Wait a minute, wait. We need to
I
get you a
hope not here
wireless
at this
mic.
moment.
Rachel, if we have a do you have your wireless mic? Grab the one you handed before.
He just said he's bulimic.
Yeah, he said he's bulimic. Okay, let's see if we can get you a mic. Or hey. Yes. So tell us all about your bulimia, please.
Super awesome. So what you do?
You're gonna fit right into this table because we do it low here.
No, I don't know. It's one of those things I tell myself every day, like how do you eat healthier and how do you work 16 hours a day and actually like get 3 solid meals in, and it's just real hard. I leave the house almost every morning without eating breakfast. I don't eat. The first thing I eat is at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then
all day.
Yeah, that's usually the only thing I eat.
Wow.
But I mean, there's tasting and all that kind of stuff, and I don't know.
Here's some wine for you if you would like, because this is a very hard life you have. So here's some wine if you
Agitates
would
the
like.
bulimia.
So I want to tell, first of all, a couple accolades for Jason. Not just that everything we had is fantastic, but he is called the Prince of Pork. I don't know if you knew that. How does someone become the Prince of Pork? And more importantly, Food and Wine 2013 just came out in June. He has been named one of America, not Chicago, one of America's top new chefs. So hats off to you. And I'm glad that you came to the dinner party. So how do you become, what do you think they're looking for, and how do you become a top new chef of America? What sort of quality are they looking for there?
I don't know. I mean, I'm, like you look at the rest of my class and it's guys like Michael Fultaggio who won Top Chef.
Yes.
And, Danny Bowen, who's just, killing it on 2 coasts. And I feel extraordinarily lucky to be included with them. And you know, I don't know, man. I think I'm the black sheep.
I don't know. It's not true. And you run so low key. So, you know, Randolph Street has, you know, Moto right off of Randolph Street, and now got, you know, some big, you know, publicity people.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
But, you know, you're laying
You want to talk about dishing actors, dishing other chefs is really the key to this.
That's really good. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we've been talking shit and smack about actors.
Yeah,
I want to hear you go on chefs.
Basinger.
Edit yourself.
Smack.
You said shit, then you're like, oh, smack. And that's how you edit.
If you have a good
I was
chef
trying to use that cool
give it
chef
to
word.
us.
Good chef story.
Where they really like scuttlebutt on a good chef.
Okay, there's one. I got one. I won't name any names. So,
Excellent, you fit right in.
I heard a rumor that one chef, I'm not going to say he or she or whatever,
A Chicago chef.
a Chicago chef, was
Charlie Trotter.
No, because they were peeing in Charlie Trotter's mouth, dummy. Sorry.
And he was
Oh my God!
on the show.
I love that a chef is coming and he's taking the room down.
Hold on. Okay, go ahead.
A pastry was being made. A wedding cake, and they didn't have any flowers for the decorative whatever. They took the potpourri out of the bathroom, onto the cake, served it.
$10,000 wedding cake.
Whatever. You know, it doesn't like not anymore.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So the next time you get married, you might want to double check the potpourri on your wedding cake because it could have come from the bathroom. One never really knows. But okay, so I think actually that you and Robert have something in common. I interviewed Alexander Payne recently, who's a wonderful director, of course, as you know. He's won some Academy Awards, and a really nice guy. So I would never, you know, in terms of like the trash talking, I can't say enough wonderful things about Alexander Payne, who won an Academy Award for the movie, was it Election? For The Descendants and Sideways. Sideways. Some great movies. And he said, being a director is part poet and part bastard. And so, of course, you're a director, but also you, I think, of how many people you run in the kitchen, having just been at Nightwood. I mean, you are, no kidding, you're running that place like a director, and you guys have something in common.
Well, I have to say that, I mean, I said this the other night, I have a lot of friends who are chefs. And I think that in many ways, being a director and running a theater is very much like running a restaurant. You gotta go, or you gotta put it out there between, like, let's say 7 and 11 o'clock at night. Yeah. And it's a complete improvised performance.
Every time, every night is different.
And whereas, you know, and it is kind of true. You're kind of trying to run the show. You are kind of an asshole, and you are kind of a poet, and you're trying to put it together.
Yes.
And you're making a show every night. And it's really funny, just as a theater director, it's kind of unusual how many chef friends I have, because it's like creating, making. I mean, I've found a lot of inspiration from chefs that I know in terms of just pure creativity.
That's interesting. I always like the baseball manager analogy for everything. It's like you're trying to put your best team on the field, and then between inning 1 and inning 9, you know, you'd have no idea what's going to happen. But you have a goal.
So true to what you're talking about and what you're talking about.
And what you do.
You're not going to go with the artistic director of leading American theater?
Wait.
I don't know why I'm here. I don't know if what I do.
It's the same thing. You're running a restaurant. You're building.
Okay, but I have a tweet for you on that exact subject. You got a tweet! You got a tweet! And this person...
This is so weird.
The rest of you are kind of asleep at the wheel.
Oh, it's bizarre.
Because this person just won $100 at Nightwood.
Oh,
so,
all right.
You know, not a bad way to go for a tweet. So they're asking
You're giving
you...
up $100.
I know he's wondering, like, how did I get here and why? Okay, Red Dog Treats, that's their handle, wants to know, so Food and Wine named you Best New Chef. Great. How do each of your successes motivate you, and how do they influence you? So how do they kind of push you forward?
You know, honestly, it's funny that we're just talking about staff, because mine have seen this really huge ebb and flow, peaks and valleys, the whole thing. You know, we were open and then going and going and going. We had a, you know, steady few years,
right.
And then Cochon happened.
Cochon. So when he says cochon, tell everybody what cochon is. Some people know over here, but tell. And you became Prince of Pork from
King.
Tell.
King.
I thought it was Prince of Pork.
So
when did you become become king?
Cochon is a national cooking competition.
And cochon is a French word for pig, and it's a national cooking competition.
So they do 10 stops along the country. 5 chefs from each city compete. I won the Chicago round, and then you go on to compete in Aspen, and the 10 whatever winners compete. I won that too, thereby making me the king.
Oh, I see. And he's here. Wonderful.
Winning is the fun part. But it's they saw me, so like I won, and I competed against Stephanie from Girl and the Goat, and Mike Sheeran and all those guys.
Way to knock that down.
But you know what I mean? And then you win, and...
Wait, go ahead, Robert, what did you say?
No. We're having a chef, director, actor sort of thing of it.
So, and then the guys I was competing against in Aspen were like, one of them's an Iron Chef and whatever. I don't know. I was freaked out. I was scared.
Yeah, I imagine you were nervous. Yeah, sure.
So my staff saw me through those kind of things, and then I tend to get really, really tense and annoyed and mean, and I want to. When you don't know what's going, the unknown really freaks me out.
Sure.
So the same thing really happened with Food and Wine. After that happened, I was like, oh, this is really cool, and then I was like, fuck. What do I do? What do I do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because you felt that something was expected of you?
Well, all roads lead back to the fuck.
I think that's true.
I think that is true.
I get my dream job, and then I'm like, oh,
Now you
fuck,
know.
now I'm dead. I have to do something else.
I think that's true. It's
How do
like
you
what
follow that
happens
up?
next? You achieve something.
Yeah.
So we're back to how do you stay in
No,
the moment
I want you
and
guys to
enjoy
tell
that?
me.
Yeah.
What do I do?
What do you do next?
Where's Twitter?
But don't you? It's hard. I mean, how you enjoy that moment, and yet you got
The moment was extremely enjoyable. My wife is here tonight,
great.
and we had a blast, just kind of like basking in the whatever you call it.
The hot
I've wanted
tub.
that forever.
Do you hoop and holler when you won? Did you go?
Sure.
You wanted that. You've been working on that. Yeah.
It was something
That's good for you.
It's huge.
You can enjoy. I can't enjoy anything.
Oh.
I just can't. No, my wife will tell you. I get a job. I'm like, and she's like, well, aren't you excited? I'm like, they can fire me anytime they
So now you're
want.
more nervous than ever.
That's
Oh,
what-
yeah.
Even like if you book something, you're like
yeah.
until it airs or until it can be
But-
taken away from you so quickly.
But it's your place, right?
But they can't take it away from you.
No?
No, they can't.
So you haven't, it's not like you've worked your way through sort of, and it's your place or your
I don't own the place.
Really?
No, you're
Is
exec
that
chef.
is that a goal of yours? Is to sort of have the kind of creative freedom that you want to ultimately have?
I can do whatever I want. I mean,
But now you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, it was always kind of understood that, like, go ahead, do whatever you want to do, and, we trust you and all that kind of stuff, which is very nice, which is great.
I love the
owning a
idea of you
place,
being a dick.
Yeah.
I can't see it actually.
That's amazing.
You should come stage for a day.
I
Just
love it.
work for a day.
No.
You've never obviously worked in the kitchen.
Where everyone, okay, well, I have a tweet for the entire table.
Yes.
So everyone can answer
That's so
this question.
fair.
And it is so fair.
Is
And
anybody in here tweeting towards us?
Yes, they're all tweeting towards you.
Oh,
That's
is
what we're
everybody in
doing.
the house?
Yes, so I'm filtering those.
Well, who
while I'm
else
talking
would it
to
be,
you.
Dave?
I don't know. Iowa's big. Iowa's a big state.
ESP or something? They know we're here having
We're on the
dinner.
internet right
We're on the
now.
internet, yes, on the
She
Sun
promised
Times.
me. We're on the internet,
Yeah,
right?
sometimes
All
the Sun Times is tweeting
Webisoding us.
webisoding us live. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
streaming live on the
No,
Sun Times, so
yeah.
anybody could film
Our
it.
All right,
numbers are
first of all,
through the
how
roof.
great is she as a host?
Oh, very nice.
No, really, how great is she?
Oh, that's really nice.
This is her show. We keep talking about directors and producers, and this is really your show.
None of our mics
It's
have
been
worked.
fun.
We could just go on. So, okay, wait. I have a tweet for everyone. Very sweet of you to say. Okay, so, and this person is going to win a gift bag from the wonderful Yemi Marie that we should not forget about because she started the show. And she's really fantastic. And that girl is 16 and has so much talent. So the tweet for the whole table from Katie Dubb. Nice job. Come see me after the show. Come get your gift. What have you not done in your career that you would still like to do? So you got King of Pork under you. So you guys, all of you, including Jason, what have you not done yet that you would like to do? David, kick it off.
Oh, come on.
Go on the table.
I haven't worked with Ruth Buzzy yet. I I work with Ruth Buzzy.
That's a goal.
That's a reference.
Yeah.
Like a Loretta Lynn song.
And Ruth Buzzy.
I love that I cracked you up. It makes me so happy.
Do you know what we should all go around? You know, none of us have worked with Ruth Buzzy. None of us have worked with Ruth Buzzy.
Because the guy makes no sense at all.
Okay, I think it's worthwhile to note that most likely they really are going to continue drinking after this. They're seriously getting along, and
We're
so the
going
after
out.
party is going to carry on for quite a while.
What-
Anything that you haven't done yet? Like anything
Well,
that you're...
there's, I have limitations, and I understand that really well. So, like, I'm never gonna headline a play. I'm never gonna headline a TV
not
show.
true.
Oh, it is. Oh, it is.
You really know
it
that?
is.
No,
Hey,
why
babe.
would you say that?
How bad am I with my lines?
Look at him.
I'm lucky if I can get through, about 14 lines a day on a written page, not cocaine. Cocaine is what keeps me going. No, I really, what I haven't done, you know what? It's crazy. You know what's crazy about that question is like, I'm one of those guys. I might be limited or I might but like I never, in all my years of trying to figure out what I was doing and struggling and working in odd jobs and doing stuff, I never yearned. I never dreamed I'd have a house. I never dreamed I'd have a wife. I never dreamed I'd have a kid. We got another one. So, I mean, it sounds really like sentimental, but I mean, those are, I don't have dreams. I really don't. I'm grateful just that things landed on top of me. I'm just that old witch in the house landed on me and I'm happy. So, I know it doesn't make any sense.
Happy. She landed on her. Everyone else was.
Oh, that's right.
Is it any surprise that she's a Bears fan with that kind of voice? It's like, right? It's like a Bears fan kind of voice.
Sports.
I'll say it later.
All right.
Fuck you. So, wonderful, and then fuck you. Okay, so we're gonna move on to Jason.
He says the same things.
Yeah,
Those are his two favorite words in the kitchen.
they tell you you're supposed to win a James Beard Award and you're supposed to get a Michelin star and all that kind of stuff. Honestly, I don't care.
That's nice. It
know,
frees you up, right? When you're not focusing.
It's
What's your king of pork?
Well, they seem like,
that's so
they have a non-transparency to them that I don't really.
Very true.
It makes it hard to obsess over. It's like, I got no analogy, but it's like that's unknown and that's out of my control, and all I got to do is go in and work. I don't know. Owning a restaurant would be cool. Like having a house. And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll go. We'll all go.
watching my kid.
Sure.
We'll all go, right? We'll all go. One of the beautiful things about Nightwood, if you haven't been there, you can see him working in the kitchen. So it's a very open air kitchen. You've been to Nightwood, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Well, we're taking you because you're from out of town. Katie, have you been?
No.
We're all
I
going.
work 6
Fuck you!
Very funny. Okay.
He just got a job in Second City from that.
Were you at the fish show? That's what he was asking. I know. Were you there?
Yeah.
They just asked him for Saturday Night Live. Are you kidding?
I know. That impression got him Saturday Night Live.
It's a very open air kitchen. Okay, never mind.
Sorry.
Okay, we're moving on to Katie. What would you like to do that you haven't yet done? My word.
Oh, I don't know. I'll figure that out. I don't think many people can say they got to do exactly what they wanted to do when they were 13, and like that's all I wanted to do, and I did
And
it.
that's what you're doing, yes.
And it's great. And so now it's time to.
You're an old-looking 13, man.
Thank you. Thank you so much. But no, I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited.
Well, okay, who has not yet seen Let Them Eat Chaos? Yeah, good for you. Clap if you haven't seen it. Yes. Clap if you haven't seen it. Okay, I'm like crying. I'm laughing so hard. Oh my god. Okay, so all of us, it's so funny. Second City, it's running right now. It's so fantastic. So come out and see Katie do her thing, because really it's so
One of the guys
impressive.
from Chicago Fire came and we had to kick him out. So drunk.
There's my buddy. I mean, it could be any of them.
Who's the guy that's dating Lady Gaga?
Oh, that's
Oh,
Taylor.
yeah.
He got kicked out.
Oh, nice. That's good. That's
But he
good.
was sweet about it. He
He got
apologized.
kicked out. That is a low bar.
Get kicked out of Second City. He kept yelling, he kept talking, and I was like, why the fuck is no
nobody talking to this guy. And then finally at intermission, they were like, he's on a TV show. Like, sorry we didn't go up to him. And I was like, kick him out!
We were at NASCAR yesterday, and they were like,
Juliet?
4 of them were sleeping on the floor. My castmates, I was like, holy shit.
I love that they kicked him out of NASCAR.
Yeah. You get thrown out of all the low places.
Okay, wait, so your PR person asked me to do a really nice clip from you on Chicago Fire, and I am not going to include that.
Oh,
That's
please
just
use
not-
it.
That's not going to work for me. Okay, what would you like to do? I mean, you're done.
I feel...
Guys, you're drunk. You're drunk.
You know, it's like everybody else up here. I feel incredibly privileged to have had the opportunity to do the stuff I've had to do in the city.
That you love.
Well, I do, you know, and everything is sort of extra after that. I mean, it is really sort of a gravy. You know, you just do the work, and if success comes, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
But you get up I keep coming back to this theme. You get up in the morning and you go back to work.
Yeah.
And that's sort of, you know.
Whatever
and
happens,
well, you're
success or not
thrilled.
success,
You're
you're still,
absolutely
like,
thrilled.
it's
But
the
you
work that
cannot,
motivates.
none of us can say, oh, I got an Emmy ahead of me, I got a I got a Beard Award, you know, I got Second City ahead of me.
Right.
You know, I got this
I
ahead
am
of me.
nominated for a Jeff.
Really?
Don't clap for that! Yes, absolutely! No, because he's the great. You won last year, and
Yeah.
I loved it. He was like, thank you. And I was like, that's the best speech of all time.
Wait, say more fully, because I don't think people heard you. She's been nominated for a
No,
Jeff
but
Award.
Robert won like 17 of them. And it was so,
I know.
and his speech was so great. He was just like, thank you. And I was like, that's perfect. I love this. I loved it.
Well, nominated is a huge thing. It's huge. I mean,
Oh,
it's
well,
very
it's a
exciting.
Yeah, but it's not as good as fucking winning.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay.
It's like they always say, oh, it's such an honor to be nominated. No, it's not.
Okay, that's the note that we end on. It's such an honor being nominated. Fuck that. Well, thank you for joining us tonight, everybody. It's been really fun. You've been a wonderful audience. This has been really fun.
This is really fun.
I want to thank City Winery because they're so on top of it. I also want to thank everyone. Please look at your screen. It takes an enormous amount of work to get this show off the ground. So I really want to thank everyone. You sit down. Everyone. Everyone. This is meaningless. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. You're not standing for them.
Ask your final question, though. Where's the...
Where's the dessert?
Oh wait, you guys got your dessert.
You said
right?
chocolate.
Yes, everybody here has already had
Don't
roast
throw it at
chocolate.
Jason.
Right?
Wait, you guys had chocolate?
Yes, no, roast chocolate came out at 8:50. I know because it's on my thing. We didn't get it. No. What the heck? Okay, so stick around because roast chocolate and David C. is coming. So I'm glad you said that.
We're going to go another 15 minutes.
Yeah,
Get a chocolate extra.
roast chocolate, David C. They're coming your way, so stay put.
Chocolate.
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 Chocolate. Chocolate.
Chocolate.
I agree with them, actually. I don't know where the chocolate
We were
is.
chanting for chocolate.
Yes, we've been cheated. We've been robbed. That's really what it gave us. I want to, of course, thank my guests. Troublemaker, Robert Balls of the Goodman Theatre.
That's gonna bar.
Katie Rich from Second City. Jason Vincent of Nightwood. More trouble, David Eigenberg visiting us from LA and New York. Here working on Chicago Fire. Hey, chocolate is coming. We got it finally. Wonderful. Thank you for chocolate. Thank you for chocolate. Okay, so as funny as tonight was, and it really was, and as low as it was, it can get pretty low. So you'll want to be here our next show, which is October 21st. We're branching out. We're going to have the general manager of the Bears. General manager of the Bears is going to be here, Phil Emery. We also have Lynn Jordan, who's fantastic and in the house, I think. We're going to have Kevin Koval, co-founder of Louder Than a Bomb. So you'll want to for coming, everybody.